Mark, here's Josh. Let's take a look here at what we got. Um, like I said at lessons, I don't have a reference point to see how he used to throw, so we'll just work it from here, and we'll see what's going on in the delivery and where we could make some improvements. So he is young, but it's not too young to start learning all the basics of throwing hard, like good back leg drive, hip and shoulder separation, which is pretty important even to learn at this age because then it's so much easier for him to implement as he gets older. Back leg drive, glove hand in the right place, and landing the front foot correctly. See, a lot of this all just comes from back leg drive and initiating the correct movement and getting the efficiency with the lower body because everything really does develop correctly and really efficiently when the lower body is completed. So he does a couple of good things here. He keeps his foot down long, which is really good, and the back foot against the rubber here, and that's key to keeping that down long. You got to keep that heel down so that you can use all the ground forces with the entire foot driving, and accelerating that drive to power your stride. Uh, Now, the idea is to power this leg enough so that it helps the front foot to land correctly. You see how he lands pretty sharply on the inside part of the foot, and then the knee has to swivel out. So if you watch the front knee here, watch how it swivels. Watch how the front foot lands sharply on the inside, and that's not good for stabilization. He wants to land that flat, and sometimes what happens with young kids is that because they lack back leg power, they don't get the front leg. The front leg doesn't get placed or positioned right um, to brace up. And what I mean by that is when the back leg powers correctly, it actually lifts the front hip just before front foot strike, and it extends the leg more out here. So that back leg power really does help put the front foot in its right place. And again, sometimes it's just a motor skill that has to be relearned. I mean, you can just try turning the foot and opening it and just try, feeling what that motion is and then just, repeating it over and over again. But most of the time it just comes from the lack of back leg power because when you do have the power stride going correctly and you've lowered your center of gravity, you will actually see the front hip lift a little bit as the front leg is reacting to that and then just dropping the foot down a little further. And that does help open the foot more. So it's not totally just a motor skill, but it's or like a muscle coordination skill. It's a leg power reaction. So and with young kids, that's typically what we see. Um, it's typically what we see when it comes to just not having the functional strength. So here's what I look for: the heel action. If heel action is a pop up, then I know that he's not really powering out of the back leg. So when he gets the weight here onto the inside part of the foot and his force vector is now angled up this way, this is where the leg drive really needs to begin. This is where it really begins, but watch how his knee here just kind of collapses in and just turns over. I don't see any extension of the knee or straightening of the leg. So when you don't get that, you don't get the hip and shoulder separation that you want. He does land nice and tall, though. I like how he keeps his chin at his belt buckle, but if you notice any landing, you see where his hips are. You see how closed off he is. He does turn a little bit. There's a little bit of a turn here. A little bit of some early shoulder rotation because we want the hips to turn first and the shoulders to turn second. That's typically the sequence that you want to see to take care of the arm and to improve more muscle, more velocity and more ball speed. All right, so when you power out of the back leg better, you'll lend your front leg better, you'll brace up better, and all of this up here will react better. All right, but he does look very good for his age. This is just a developmental process, so it will take time to, for a young kid who's got a lot of growing, and he'll double in strength as he grows, just naturally. Then we'll see some, significant progress. But for now, we'll work on a couple of things. We'll work on learning how to really power out of the back leg a little bit better with the strength that he has now. And we'll see that the stride will get longer and he'll land the front foot better. We also want to work a little bit on getting the hand to, instead of pulling out of the glove this way, we want to get more of just a relaxed arm so that it drops down a little bit lower so the hand doesn't get up too soon. That when the arm gets up early like that, but way before the foot gets down, that creates early trunk rotation because now he's ready to throw and he hasn't even landed. So he does get good horizontal abduction with the elbow back here, which is behind the back. So his arm isn't in a bad position when he lands his front foot. It's actually in a pretty good position. But it just creates some early shoulder rotation. And we'll work on the glove side, keeping that more active and turning the right way, turning into him, so it'll help direct his body better towards home plate. So there's a couple things that we can start to implement, and I think he's got some good potential here. So he's definitely got good athleticism and he's got good coordination. So now let's work on some basic power and speed and landing, and I usually work with the lower body first because the lower body is so important to really produce the type of power and arm health that you want. But overall, not bad, and we'll start next week on some back leg power, and we'll see how that opens up his stride a little bit more and puts his foot in a better position to land. And, from there we'll move on. All right. So I hope that helps you out. Very nice though for his age. He's got some good things here. I also like the way he keeps his front foot closed off. He doesn't open up the front side early, which is actually really impressive. But once we get this back leg to be a little bit more explosive, you'll see some nice changes. All right. Well, have a good week. Sorry about, canceling tonight. Crazy snowstorm. But, we'll get right to it.